so much for this great honor. You know, like a lot of people here, I didn't have the privilege of growing up in New York State or New York City, where, you know, even in the 80s, there were great gay and lesbian people who were out who could be role models. Like probably many people here today, I grew up outside of here. I grew up in a devout Mormon military family out in San Antonio, Texas, and I knew that I was gay from a very early age. So like many of you, I woke up in the mornings, many mornings, knowing that each day was going to be about as bleak as yesterday. That there was very little hope of ever becoming a complete person, very little hope of ever finding happiness. And, like many of us, sadly, I woke up in many mornings and thought, when am I going to finally have that courage? When am I going to have the courage to make this end? When am I going to have the courage to finally take my life? That is not a unique story, not at all a unique story. Sadly, so many of us have faced those same problems, those same challenges. And sadly, in our youth, I think so many of us, we found that hope was only this passing dream, that hope was simply delayed disappointment. And then something very magical happened out in San Francisco. An openly gay man was elected to public office named Harvey Milk. And Harvey Milk started traveling the country and giving speeches, and in each town he would talk about this phone call he got from a kid in Akron or Des Moines or some city across the nation. The city always changed, but the message was the same. The message is we have to give hope to the young people out there. We have to let them know that God does love them. When I was 14 years old, I heard that speech. I heard a recording of it in the town he named San Antonio, Texas, my hometown. And I'm alive today. I'm alive today because I heard that speech. I heard Harvey Milk's message of hope. And now I'm an adult. And now it is my mission to continue to spread that message of hope. But I need all of your help to do it. Because sadly, as many of you know, today, the problem still continues. Gay and lesbian kids even here in New York City are still 4 times more likely to attempt suicide than their straight brothers and sisters, 9 times more likely they come from unaccepting homes. And for those who are brave enough, who decide to come out to their families, even today, 26% are still kicked out of the home. The religious right, for so many years now, they said, it's the gay and lesbian people, it's the gay and lesbian people who threaten our families and threaten our children. But let's be honest for a second. It is their hateful, homophobic messages that literally are costing America's children their lives. Literally. So, I ask you this. So how do we fix that? How do we get Harvey Milk's message of hope back out to these people? And, some of the work that's going on here in New York, and I wish that, the Senate understood this, so much of the work going on for marriage equality would send a message that at least there's a place to go one day where you can be treated equally. So it's important to do that work. But what about the kids who can't travel here? What do we do for them? And I say, we look to our history books. It was the federal courts that finally legalized interracial marriage. There was a president who finally abolished segregation in the armed forces, and there was another president who finally abolished slavery. If any of those things had been left up to a majority vote like we did in California, we may have none of those things today. And I say the state-by-state work is incredibly important. It is, but if that's all we do is state-by-state work, what are we going to be left with? We're going to be left with a checkerboard country. We're going to be left with a country with freedom in some places and no freedom in other places. And I do not think that our brothers and sisters rose up 40 years ago in this city for me to stand here before you today and demand partial apology. And I like to go around and I like to quote Harvey Milk. This is when he wrote. And one of the things he said in 1973, when he was running for public office for the first time, and so many of the gay leaders said, hey Harvey, you gotta cut it out. It's too soon for an openly gay elected official. It's too soon, you gotta quiet down, we don't need this backlash. And this is what he said to them. He said, my friends, masturbation can be fun, but it does not take the place of the real thing. It is about time for the gay and lesbian community to stop playing with itself and get down to the real thing. There are people who are satisfied with crumbs because that is all they think they can get, when in reality reality, if they demand the real thing, they will find that indeed they can get it. And I'm here to say, yes, gay marriage is so very important. It is so very important that we have gay marriage here in New York State, but it is not enough. I'm here today to demand full equality in all matters governed by civil law in all 50 states. Because I believe it is time for the gay and lesbian community to finally at last, follow in the footsteps of every successful civil rights struggle in this country's history, and at last name our dream. And to me, our dream of full equality sounds exactly like this. We, the gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgender people of America, demand the promise of our Constitution and Declaration of Independence be honored. We demand that the federal government act immediately, decisively, and unequivocally to ensure equal protection under the law for LGBT people throughout the United States. That's right, full and equal federal equality. That is our promise. Our state-by-state work must continue. In fact, it must be redoubled in every city hall, in every state capital, on every ballot across this great nation if we are going to achieve full federal equality. In all 435 congressional districts across this nation, we must redouble our efforts, our outreach and education efforts. We must heed the call of Harvey Milk, and we must come out. We cannot simply come out to our brothers and sisters and our family. We must come out to every citizen, in every small town, in every major city, in every factory, in every office building. We must share our personal stories and our struggles, and we must once and for all dismiss the lies and the fears and the myths that have plagued our nation and plagued our people for generations. Because now is the time. Now is the time to inspire the activist generation of Harvey Milk to return to the fight. Now is the time to inspire the young people to join with us and lay their bodies on the line. Now is the time to inspire our straight allies, our brothers and sisters, our parents, our friends, and those people who do not yet know what they are our friends. Because we must unite. We must unite all of the Essex, not just the gay and lesbian people. We must unite all of the minorities, all the people who are being treated unequally. Because together we are unbeatable. Together we are strong. And together our voices cannot be ignored even by our leaders in Washington, D.C. But now is also the time, I think, for me to say that it is not enough anymore for us to simply come out. At this critical moment in the gay and lesbian movement, we must stand up. So I'm urging you and asking you to please join me and march on Washington, D.C. this October the 11th. And not just to make our voices heard, but also to organize with our brothers and sisters from the other 435 congressional districts, so we may bring our message of outreach and education. We may bring our message of grassroots organizing back to every corner of this country and finally at last, create a true national LGBT movement. Because now is the time.